Hello, everybody. Welcome to the what is this fourth episode of
This will be
the
fourth, yeah.
draft? Yeah, NACP podcast. I am Calvin, joined here today with my co-host Leo,
Hello.
and we have a awesome special guest this week joining us from the CBA. It is Lewis.
Hello, I'm the new person in the basement. Yeah, I watch the videos.
Luke managed to get out. He knows all the jokes. I mean, the real life circumstances.
Yeah, so finally Luke has escaped. You guys can thank Lewis for that. Really happy to have him on the show. I know Lewis is a really good player, and he's going to have some good insight, hopefully.
I'm just bad. I just YOLO it. I have my monkey do all the work.
Nice. I like that.
Nice. So, yeah, we're just going to hop right into things here with the freshly printed Week 6 recap.
We are recording this on Tuesday now instead of Sunday so that we can actually be up to date with the present and we're not putting out week-old information. So here we are. Hopefully this will be up tonight, being Tuesday, but probably Wednesday.
Cool. So I'll start things off. So right off the bat here, we've got Hayden, as normal. Had a very rough week. Honestly, Hayden is... he started out strong in the tournament. He's definitely hitting a bit of a slump here in these waning weeks. So he lost to Luke pretty badly, and he had a pretty close game with Dan. But unfortunately, he's dropped significantly this week, going all the way down to 13th.
There should be some time, I think, for him to get up. The difference between 13th and that 8th place spot isn't too far. But moving on down to Laurel, kind of a rough week for her as well. 2 kind of mid-range losses to Reggie and to our guest here, Lewis. She has a current win-loss record of 5-6 and has moved down to 9th place as of week 6.
All right, so Kelsey, yeah, she's been improving. Last week she had me, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Last week, week 6.
Yeah, in the match when I had her, she definitely shown some potential. And as said prior to this, she did have, from the differential, she did increase it from a very, very bad one that she kept on having in the beginning.
She's still getting a couple of losses, but her differentials have definitely gotten better, and you can see that in her play, she's definitely been improving, I would say. And the trades that you made are helping to make these matches a lot closer. But moving on to me, hi. I lost the chain because I'm dumb, and I beat Reggie because sometimes I'm not dumb. I'm in 3rd place right now, and there's a big old tie for that illustrious 1st place spot.
Well said. Next up here, we've got Ross. So he had a bye week, which was good for him because then he got to prep extra hard for our match this week. And as you see, he defeated me in a very close game. As you'll see down below, this is game of the week. But a nice big win for him. He's in the top ridings here, so he's sitting comfortably at 5th. And these wins really do matter as far as trying to make it up to the top. So good week for Ross, I'd say.
Yeah, great week for Ross. Going down to, I realized that I skipped over you to say my own one before, so I apologize for that one, Kevin.
That's okay.
Moving on to William. He had a bye week as well, and unfortunately, in the one game that he did have, they lost to Kyler in a near miss on that one with a quick little -1 differential. But William came out kind of swinging towards the beginning of the season, but has started to get a couple of losses stacking up here and there, and he's sitting at 14th place with a -14 differential.
And going up to me, well,
Yep.
1-1. This is the first loss really got me. I don't know. It was a good start in the beginning, and then I started messing up, but it's all good. Sean, that's how you say his name, right? Sean?
Sean, yeah.
Yeah. Sean is a very it's a very good player, and he deserved the 5-0. And Laurel, yeah, she's not that far from me.
No, she's not that
So-
far.
She's
still in contention.
only ninth place, so she's actually only one standing behind you.
Not
Oh, I
bad.
didn't even know I'm in 8th place.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right there. You're
yeah. You
hang on that
right now.
place.
You're right into the playoff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. All right, Calvin.
Yeah, not doing bad.
Not that
Cool.
bad. I even
So-
peeped that.
Yeah. So after Lewis here, we got Sean. Sean defeated Lewis, just as Lewis said, with +5, and then he had a bye week. The match with Lewis was a pretty close game. Like, don't let that differential fool you. It was actually a really close game.
Yeah.
It's just Sean had a really good tailored team to be able to take on an electric offensive heavy team. So, but big win for Sean as he's crept up to 6th here. And yeah, he looks like he's standing good as far as playoffs look.
Moving on to Chris, also a bye week, and then in his one match, he had a resounding 6-0 victory over Shane with that Blacephalon.
Wow.
So he moved up a couple places. He's now in 7th.
That game really was a shocker.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere.
Don't disrespect the spooky clown.
Yeah,
This is true. This is true.
we had a couple of Beast Boost wins this week.
That's true. So, Lewis, what do you think about Kyler?
And Kyler being next, 1-0 versus William, and then 4-0 loss versus Steven. It looks like Kyler is spiraling down, because if I'm correct, she had 2 losses last week.
I think he did have 2 losses this week. Yeah.
Yeah, last week was rough.
It looks like he tried to climb back up, but it wasn't. It didn't seem like they could. 12th in standing. Oh, actually. No, yeah.
Yeah,
12th in standing.
He's
With
got
-7 differential. It's not that far from where I am. We're in 8th, which is playoff making.
Yeah, he's close enough to 8th.
Mhm.
He can grab that.
Next here, we got Reggie. 50-50 week. Came out with a definitive win against Laurel, and then took a loss to Leo there. Yeah, this top 4 spots is really heating up because none of the top guys are getting consistent wins right now. So Reggie's in the mix with that. He's holding on to 2nd, but that's mostly because of his good differential. So really getting interesting.
That's for sure. Moving on to Luke. Luke had a great week. 2-0 week with a +4 on Hayden and a +2 on Kelsey. That makes him 5-5, and he moves up to 10th place this week. So he's putting himself into the contenders position coming up on the end of the draft of power. He's got, 3 more weeks left? And he's putting himself in a pretty good position to nab that last playoff spot or 2. Good week for Luke.
Moving on to Calvin, seeing how he beat Kelsey and lost to Ross, which is the game of the week. Having a 8-2 win-loss record with a +30 differential, which you were in 3rd place, right? Last week?
No, last week I was at 1st. The week before that, I was at 3rd or 4th.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, but he's held on to that. You got a damn good differential, my friend. Damn
Yeah, the differential, I have not noticed it until recently that it is a very large gap between you and Reggie. Well, not a large gap, but 8 mons to get up there. It's going to take a while.
Yeah, pretty significant lead, I'd say. But like I said, it's still a close game. Right now, I'm only holding on to that spot with my differential. Wins, there's a 4-way tie.
Yep.
So it's definitely looking interesting. Someone else who had a pretty interesting week, I'd say, was Dan. So this is definitely a weird spot since it was a half and half team here. But after a bunch of trades, he seems to be doing pretty well for himself, I'd say. He's having close matches, but he came out with 2 wins this week, one against Steven, one against Hayden, and seems to be pulling himself up to 11th here with a 5-5 win-loss. So I'd say Dan's not doing too bad for himself, and this is a good week for him.
Definitely a good week for him. Moving on to Shane. He had a mixed bag of a week. He beat me in a real close one, and then he lost to Chris in a not so close one. So he's 8-4 and has dropped to 4th place due to some differential stuff. Still tied for wins, but the differential brought him down a bit.
Next is Steven with his first win finally.
Finally, congrats, Steven.
Good for him. Good for him.
It was a good win as well. I think I seen it actually, if I wasn't mistaken. But I'm not going to dwell into it. But
It was a fun one.
he also did still lose to Dan. It was a close one though.
Yeah, he's putting himself now in a 1-10 position and has moved up with the acquiring of that win to 15th place.
Very interesting week 6 recap. As you can see, there's a lot of red and a lot of green. So that means there's still a lot of movement. There's a lot of close spots here. This tournament is still wide open for change, I think.
Absolutely.
It's practically almost anyone's game bowl.
Yeah.
Bowl game.
Not too much to report on the kill leaders. Calvin's Zyger, that's the first week that got up there, isn't it?
I moved to third.
Nice. You did move.
Yeah, you didn't get any kills this week, Lewis.
I was trying to versus Kelsey, but didn't work.
I think it's very funny.
Not Kelsey,
kill leader.
Lauren.
I think it's very funny that our current kill leader is a free agent now.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm not quite sure why Hayden decided to get rid of his best Pokemon and probably the best Pokemon in the league.
Yeah, maybe.
But, you know, it's interesting, to say the least.
Yeah. Weird one.
So, since we're a little bit behind on the team analysis, we're going to be doing 2 this week. We will be starting off with Ross's team, going over that and talking about what we all think of it. Yeah. Leo, did you want to start off?
Sure. Well, all right. So starting out with Ross's team, he had one of the weirder teams coming right out of the draft because he had some interesting tech choices with the Tyranitar and the Stoutland. But he has since changed that. He went through a lot of changes in an OU over the course of the season where he moved the Tyranitar to a Superior, and then the very week after that, the Superior to the Tapu Bulu. So now he's got a lot of really hard-hitting physical attackers at his disposal, between the Tapu Bulu, the Escavalier, and the Aggron. They can and the Sharpedo now as well. They can hit just ridiculously hard. He's got a lot of really strong physical attackers, and he is a little bit lesser on his number of special attacking threats, but Reuniclus goes a long enough way to make up for that on its own, because the thing just has setup potential out the wazoo and can hit ridiculously hard with a bunch of different Z moves. The decision to make Reuniclus a Z mover was just a great idea. So he has just a really strong core of attacking threats and a couple of really interesting wall choices as well. Like the Aggron isn't necessarily a wall, it's kind of more just a tank. But its physical defense is crazy, even though it does have a lot of weaknesses. And to cover the other side of that, we have Mantine with just a ton of special defense. So he's got his resistances, or not his resistances, but his defenses pretty well covered to make up for some of the frailty that you can kind of take advantage of with his harder hitting attackers. Reuniclus is pretty tanky on its own, but Bulu's got a 4x weakness. Noivern's got a 4x weakness. There's just a lot of options there to kind of take advantage of his attackers. So having that strong core of walls to fall back on is a really useful thing. Some of the stuff that I haven't talked about yet, he's got Sharpedo for his Mega, which is a new addition, and it gives him a nice kind of cleanup kill option right in the end game there, which is good because he's got a lot of ways to pepper down his opponents with physical attacks and with special attacks. So having that sweeping potential at the end, or that cleanup potential rather, is a really big deal. And I think in this game of the week, you're going to see that showed off a lot for sure. I know Calvin's getting nightmares as I talk about this right now.
That's okay.
Finally, a mistake that's on this thing I'm realizing now is that I never changed that Ditto in his NU column to a Gastrodon, but he's got a Gastrodon there now, not a Ditto. great pickup, more wall potential. He's just got an all-around really well-rounded team with a lot of scary threats to take advantage of and some annoying stuff to worry about too, like the Amoongus and the Gastrodon. So, all in all, I really like Ross's team, and it shows. He's been doing a lot of work with it. Calvin, you have any thoughts?
Yeah. So I thought right out of the gate, he drafted more of what you would expect Ross to draft in a league like this. He drafted a Regenerator core, he drafted a lot of bulk, and he drafted Mega Trinitar. So, but I think there was a little bit of conflict with his draft. So he had a really bulky team, not quite stall, but it was pushing the limits of it in the beginning. I think he realized that's not exactly what he was wanting to go for. So he made a bunch of interesting trades in the beginning. But I think near the end here, it's actually rounded out to a really good team in which he can bring a couple different styles. So what I mean by that, he can bring a more bulky defensive style team, right? He's got the Regenerator core with the Moongus, Renucleus. He's got Mantine special bulk, Defog. He's got a Scavalier to be pursuit trapping with an Assault Vest or a Choice Band. He's got Oxy for just overall bulk, Aggron for the physical bulk, Tapu Bulu for bulk all around. Or he can, go with more of an offensive style team. So he's got lots of support options to help with that, such as the Uxie grants a bunch of different things. Amoongus has Spore. He also has obviously the offense to back that up. So he's got Tapu Bulu, that thing with Sword Stance, with bulk up, with a Choice Band. Just an Assault Vest is great. Renucleus is absolutely phenomenal in the options it has with Calm Mind. Scavalier, like I already kind of mentioned. His speed tiering with the Noivern is absolutely great. It's his fastest Pokemon, and it really has helped him so far. And the Sharpedo is an amazing cleanup. I think Ross has probably one of the best teams in the league. I thought that when we first looked at the drafts, and I even still agree with that right now, I think. The only problems I would say with his team is he doesn't really have many rock switch-ins. I guess his best Pokemon to take rock hits is Aggron, which is okay. A lot of teams kind of struggle with rocks, but
I mean, he has Grassodon now.
Yeah, the Gastrodon is a pretty easy switch in. I'm sorry, I know it's an issue of me being dumb and apparently missing that.
Well, there you go. He's even got that countered. So I think Ross has a phenomenal team. I know what you got to say, Lewis.
I have to agree with you as well. At first I didn't really think his team was the best because it seemed like Mega T-Tar and a bunch of Fat Mons. Right now, though, It seems that it's a very good balanced offense with Gastrodon, Mega Sharpedo, Aggron, the Uxie, the Reuniclus, the Amoongus, Bulu. They're all pretty fat. Well, besides the first mon I just said, the Sharpedo.
Yeah, Sharp.
They're all pretty fat, and they all can switch into each other's weaknesses and help out. And Mega Sharpedo with a lot of good late game sweeping from just being itself as a mon. It does help Ross being... Yeah, it helps Ross with its speed. Yeah, speed checks, because his other fast mon is Noivern, which
ridiculously fast.
Yeah, he had to scarf it for versus me. Still kind of salty over that, but never mind that. But in all honesty, I love his team compound. He could honestly go with a mixture of a lot of things, and it will all do good.
Agree with pretty much everything that we've all said. He's got a really well balanced, thick team to take all those hits, and one of the best teams I think that we have here in the league. What are we thinking as far as star ratings here, gentlemen?
I think if I was to give his team a rating, I'm going to stick with my guns, what I said in the beginning when I was first thinking about doing these. I feel comfortable giving his team a 5-star rating.
Wow.
It's very difficult finding problems with his team. He doesn't really. His team's just so maneuverable enough where he can really tailor his team really well for almost any kind of threat. I think that's a really good benefit of his team. And yeah, it's really hard to point out weaknesses. He's got something for everything. I really like his team.
Yeah, I can't really disagree with any of that. I was struggling to think of whether or not this is a 4-star or a 5-star team. And just seeing the way that his walls complement each other between the Escavalier, the Mantine, and the Amoonguss, they all just cover each other's weaknesses so well and gives him something to switch into pretty much 100% of the time without even worrying about chip, because these are Pokemon. Escavalier isn't one of these, but for the most part, these are Pokemon that have pretty good recovery options. Mantine has roost options, Amoonguss has Regenerator, and it's got friggin' all those a million different grass methods for recovering HP. And can just be healthy all the time. And it always gives him something in his back pocket. And for that, I think that's what bumps him up over the edge of a 4-star team. And I agree with you. I think it's pretty much a 5-star team. I struggle to think of whether I think that his team or Laurel's team is stronger or more well-rounded, and his might have the edge with this most recent round of trades.
Honestly, I also can't find anything to really downgrade from a 5-star. Outside of he doesn't have a core, it's just missing one piece and another. But even that, I really can't find a way where he has a lot of weaknesses to not just one mon, but just a type in general, and I can't find that. All his mons support each other. He has 2 good mons that could sweep late game with Reuniclus and Sharpedo. He has ways to recover with Bulu and Uxie, because I believe Uxie gives Wish or Healing Wish.
It gets Wish. I think the only one of the trio that gets Healing Wish is Mesprit.
Yeah.
It gets Wish, though, for sure.
But yeah, his team is very, very balanced, very good in my opinion.
All right. Did you give it a star rating, Luce?
Oh yeah, I can't argue with any of you 5 stars as well. I really can't find another way to rate this.
Well, great. I think that was pretty thorough.
5 across the board. Good job, Russ.
Great team. Great team.
I hate you still. I'm having nightmares of that Noivern.
The Noivern.
I know it was going to outspeed me as well.
It's always so fast.
Having nightmares of missing my Toxic.
Don't worry, I have nightmares of missing Stone Edge.
I think everybody has those.
Okay, cool. Well, that was good analysis. I think we can move on to our second analysis. You guys are getting a double dose this week. We're going to jump right into William's team here.
Calvin, you want to lead it off?
Yeah, I'll lead it off since obviously I'm his brother and I was here and he's explained to me a lot of his thought process and I kind of understand his team pretty well. So right out of the gate, I think William drafted a pretty subpar team. And it definitely showed because one of the biggest problems with his team right out of the gate was speed. The fact that his Mega Medicham was the fastest Pokemon on his team at a base 100 speed is not good. Mega Medicham's a wall breaker. You usually want some kind of a sweeper afterwards with speed or trick room options to be able to take advantage of that said utility. William didn't have any of that. But what he did have is a good offensive team. I will still stick to that. He has a good offensive team. with options such as Metagross for bulk and pursuit trapping. Komodo, one of the best Z move users in the group, I would say, absolutely. Houndoom, good wall breaking. Gardevoir, tons of options there. Forretress is a good throw on any team. It'll give you any kind of spikes hazard you want, plus rapid spin. Braviary for punishing those defogs. Quagsire is a get out of jail free card. He has some good stuff on his team. And so what I'll say he still lacked though is he has a lot of electric problems. So he did try to change a bunch of this when he did some trades. So he got the Zeb Strika, which unfortunately was, though it added speed to the team, it was a downgrade with Electros. So what I mean by that is if Strika doesn't get U-turn, which is a big problem with the team as offensive as his. He wants momentum to always be on his side. So that was actually a downgrade besides the speed. The last two trades, though, actually really benefited his team in the best way possible, I think. He still has an electric weakness, obviously, but with the Keldeo and with the Mega Aerodactyl, he went from horrible speed to absolutely great speed. Keldeo with 108 and Mega Aerodactyl with 150 is phenomenal. So now his offensive team is pretty scary, I'd say. He has some of the hardest hitting things in the league, I would argue. He still has some problems as far as team composition, but it's not as bad as when he first drafted, I'll say.
Yeah.
No, Lewis, what would you say about this team?
Well, from starting just to look at it, okay. I like how he tries to balance his some of his setup mons like Fortress and I would also like to say like Braviary for defaults and all that. But I like how he tries to balance that with Zeb Strika and Houndoom, which both have Flash Fire and Lightning Rod. So he has immunities on with those, and Quagsire giving him another electric immunity. It's kind of too late for my electric cord, but
yeah.
Another thing I think I kind of just seen is he is pretty weak to fighting in general. Outside of his Gardevoir, not a lot of things want to come into, well, practically a lot of fighting moves. Like if he was to face Ross, Reuniclus, Focus Blast, really dents his team, or Stevens Lucario dents his team as well. But he did change up his team with the switches that you said with Keldeo and Aerodactyl. It did help his team a lot. But in my opinion, I think it kind of not hurt, but it could have been different. I think that's the word I'm trying to look for. Could have been.
It kind of just switched the problems, maybe, I think. Because he did lend himself more electric problems with the addition of speed.
Yes.
That's he doesn't.
But I think he fixed his problem with both Quagsire and Zeb Strika, because even though he has Keldeo, Aerodactyl, and a Braviary, there we go. Being weak to electric, he still has Komodo, Zeb Strika, and Quagsire to at least take a hit from any electric mon from the rosters.
I think Zeb Strika, I think it also gets Motor Drive on top of Lightning Rod, too.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So it benefits even more from switching it on those electric moves than just simply saying it's a Lightning Rod.
Interesting.
That's true.
Yeah. I like Williams' team a lot. He's got a couple of really core pieces that I would like a lot. I have not been quiet about the fact that I was very bummed when he early drafted that Komodo because I wanted it badly. And he's been taking advantage of it for sure. It's a great addition to this team just because it's such a great freaking setup sweeper. Like, an everything boost and a dragon nuke all in one. Like, it's everything you could ask for. There are a couple of teams that just don't have anything to do about that. And a couple more beyond that you don't need to put in much work to get in a position to just blindly click Klinger or Soul Blaze. Beyond that, I like what he's done to his speed tiers. The Aerodactyl and the Keldeo were great pickups for his generally slower team and provide him some really strong nukes on either side of the attacking stat. Keldeo, obviously, hitting... Everybody has nightmares about like getting hit by a Keldeo Hydro Pump. Or a Sacred Sword on really hard... what would normally be really hard tanks to a Water-type Pokemon. Oh, you're eating a Sacred Sword, now you're dead. Keldeo's good at doing that kind of thing. And then Aerodactyl on the other side with Tough Claws boosted physical contact moves. People don't like getting hit by that. And when this thing's got base 150 speed to work with, you're going to be getting hit by that most of the time. It outspeeds some Scarfers. Like, it'll outspeed a base 100 Scarfer. If my math is right on that. It might need to be base 99.
No, you're right.
But it's fast, and it hits really hard. And it's got a couple of interesting tech options to pick from, too. Like, it can be a bit of a Pursuit Trapper. That's awesome. It can be a Rocker. Not normally what you would use a Mega Aerodactyl for. That's more a territory of regular Aerodactyl, but it can, if you wanted to. It's just really flexible and hard-hitting. It's great. Aside from that, we've got the Quagsire, much like the Gastrodon from Ross. Quagsire is going to be a great all-around core to rely on. Having recovery options, having that ground type to take advantage of the electric weakness that the rest of the team has. And maybe even more valuable than either of those things, having Unaware to cancel out any sweepers that you may have get a little bit too... setup artists that may have gotten a little bit too out of hand. It's just a really nice fallback tool and something that William has done a good job taking advantage of. So that's a really valuable tool to have. Aside from that, I like that he's got a Rapid Spinner in Fortress. He doesn't need to rely on Defog like a lot of us do. So that's a great addition to the team as well. We want to start thinking about star ratings, boys? What do you guys think?
So, I'd say when William first started, his team was below average. I would have given him a 2-star rating. But right now, I think his team's actually really strong. He just doesn't really know it, I think. I think he's just too demoralized at this point to take the games as seriously, maybe. But I think he actually has a really good team. So I would feel comfortable giving him a 3, even a 4, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Just based on just the amount of offense he can choose to do. Like, it's really hard to... Some of the things you'll be able to pin down what he can do with Keldeo and Aerodactyl. But Kama'o, good job figuring out what he's going to do with it.
Oh, it's so flexible.
Good luck. So I'd say, even a 4. I'd say a 4 I would give him.
Yeah, 4 is the number I had in mind to rate his team as well. He's got a lot of really interesting kind of coverage options as far as switch-ins go. The only issue is that, in my opinion, the way that he can take advantage of those immunities aren't like the kind you would necessarily want to rely on. He doesn't have like a super fat mon to take advantage of a lot of early switching. Fortress obviously has a lot of defense to work with, but you don't really want that to be eating even a hidden power fire, let alone like an actual fire type move. And the Quagsire's got good mixed bulk, but it's got ways to be taken advantage of as well. So if he had like maybe some more dedicated bulk, I might be willing to bump this up to like maybe not like a 5-star range, but I think that could benefit a lot. But regardless, I think he's teetering on the edge of a 4-star team, so I feel comfortable giving him a 4-star rating.
I'm kind of iffy on giving him a 3.5 or 4-star rating because he has improved from what his team looked before, but I still see some common weaknesses he has. As we mentioned before, the electric weakness. In my opinion, I think he has a fighting weakness because even with bravery, it's still half normal, and nothing really in this team wants to take a fighting move from a very strong fighting Pokemon or a Z fighting move.
That's true.
Maybe 3.5 for the most.
All right.
3.5.
We no sense offering trade recommendations to Ross, both because he's out of trades and because his team's about as good as it's going to be. But do we have any potential trades that you think that William could do that might improve his team a bit? Either of you?
I would say Houndoom, since I haven't seen them use it, actually.
I haven't really noticed it either.
Did Dan get rid of the coffee? You know what I would say? Get rid of Houndoom and pick up Coffagrigus. I think that would help with his bulk, give him toxic spikes, support, which would pressure the opponent even more, and it would help with your fighting weakness.
Just a little insight, Fortress has toxic spikes.
Oh, yeah, duh. Whatever. Another Pokemon with toxic spikes, eh?
Can never be too many toxic spikes. All right. I think that'll do it. Wrap us up for the William team analysis.
Cool. So,
Timer made noise. Shit.
Yeah. So before we get into the highlight of the show, which is the game of the week, we have a word from our sponsor this week, which is absolutely nobody. I don't know. I guess what I could do here is I'll give a shout out to the CBA. Why not? Competitive Battle Arena. So they're kind of another group that I think is pretty associated with our group.
There's a lot of crossover.
They're much. Yeah, there's a bunch of crossover. So
I try to keep it alive. I blame Shane for everything, even though he also tries to keep it alive.
Well, when I was doing a bunch of scouting in the summer to try to build my group up, which is only sitting at about 16 people, I found the CBA. I joined a bunch of their tournaments. I did well in all of them, and got some good arrangements, and got some good cross promotion between the two. So,
didn't you win our UU?
Yep, I won the UU, and I was robbed of the type tournament win. So, you're that buddy Damon. I'll never forget you, by the way, Damon. You robbed me. You hacked me at every turn. I'll get my.
Don't worry. That's exactly how we feel every time he hacks everyone. Because I think it's. I don't know how lucky this guy is, but I swear that everything. Someone said he got 08 H Empower boost. He used H Empower 8 times and he got all of them.
Oh my god.
That doesn't surprise me with how badly he hacks me. I won't blink and not think that's true. So, but anyways, the point is, go join the CBA. They're a good group. They're similar to us. They've definitely slowed down a bit, but weirdly enough, I think that's honestly because our draft to power is kind of taking up a lot of people's time.
I get that. Yeah. Probably, yeah.
They're similar to us. They don't have as large a scale tournaments, but they do have tournaments, and they're fun, and there's lots of talented players. So I would suggest everybody go join them and stay updated with what they're doing.
Please join. It's lonely just talking to myself and Shane.
Okay.
We want to move on to our final segment?
Yeah, the game of the week. I'm excited.
So, you want to maybe go over your thought process about what you were thinking when you were building for this game before we hit the play button here?
Sure. So just by what you probably picked up from Ross's team analysis. Ross is a very versatile team, so he could bring quite a few different team styles against me, which he did confirm to me, by the way, when he commented. He said he had about 3 teams prepped that he could have brought against me. So what I brought a team that could beat any of them. I brought stall counters. I brought bulky enough balance, and I brought tanky checks to a hyper offense. Even brought some stuff for Trick Room if he tried that. But all in all, what he ended up bringing was an offensive team, completely offensive with screens. So, not too surprised by that, but welcome. What I brought, my Hydreigon was my primary stall breaker, and it also was helpful in dealing with the Uxie. So I had taunt, safety goggles, which was useless, and just a variety of hits. Dark Pulse Flamethrower was good to hit everything. Scissor was my Sword Stance, Bullet Punch, U-Turner. Vaporeon had no attack moves, but it was completely support with Wish, Heal Bell, Protect, and Toxic. Mew was 4 attacks, Colbur Berry.
Nice.
Weird set, but if it depended on what he brought, I wanted to be prepared for everything. Gengar was a sub-disable Will-O-Wisp Hex set, which came into big play in this match. And my Mega Blastoise was maxed speed, max special attack, offensive.
Wow.
So I think I had a team able to take on anything he brought. As you can see, I made some misplays. He made some misplays, but we'll get into that.
All right.
So you want to press play there? So I led off with Gengar just to kind of scout what he would bring. He started Noivern. Vaporeon's always a good switch in because I could always wall this thing, even with defense drops and such. He went Uxie there. I doubled into Hydreigon because I knew he was specs at that point. So I went for the taunt, expecting stealth rocks and such. Now, it turned out this Aggron was actually Assault Vest specially defensive.
Oh, I thought for sure this was banded.
No.
Wow.
So the miss there, it was kind of unfortunate, but it did 40% to me, basically. So a lot of this early game is us just switching around and kind of gauging each other.
Just a lot of scouting.
So, yeah. I kind of regret not having an attack move on the Vaporeon here because I actually can't touch the egg. But I'm definitely trying to make some aggressive switches here to gain momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Blastoise is very good in this match. Obviously, not in the early game because I'm preserving it. That is choice banded, by the way.
I knew as soon as it hit the scissor that it was choice banded.
Yeah. So.
My God, that did a lot.
I actually got a good roll on that. It was a roll to kill, but I couldn't really sacrifice anything else. Yeah.
Did he give you a set? Did you know that it was a roll? Did you knew that it was a roll just based on the choice band?
Yeah, just based on the choice band, it was a roll to kill.
Gotcha.
So, now right here, I was scared of what the Tapu Bulu could be, but knowing that it was late sheet actually was good for me. I was like, okay, good, he's a support set. And I thought that Will-O-Wisp there was big, but as you'll find out later, that Uxie had Heal Bell, so Ross literally thought of everything, just as I was thinking of everything. Oh, it's such a good match. So, his healing there actually helped my Vaporeon get back up to health. Now, weirdly enough, my Gengar can't do much to him, except for Willow and potentially set up my substitute. And he actually plays around my Gengar very well, as you'll see, as I'm never able to quite get my plays right with it.
Yeah, this Uxie having knockoff was a big deal for what would have generally been a beneficial matchup for you in the Gengar versus the Uxie. Having the knockoff there on top of this otherwise supporting Uxie set definitely helped out with those standoffs with the Gengar.
Yeah. And the reason I switched out there is because my Gengar actually was outsped by max speed Uxie, and I knew it was max speed Uxie based on damage. So, and the fact that it outsped my Hydreigon a turn prior. So, yeah, definitely. I did a lot of calcs in this match.
I don't doubt that. I'm sure you were celebrating when he went out to Blue on that turn.
This match was very intense.
So right here, I figured he wouldn't go for another Horn Leech because I was clearly disable, and he did go for another one. It's like, man. So I was like, right here, do I go for the disable? I did go for the disable here, but he predicted me right, went to Noivern. So I was like, fuck, not doing good with that Gengar. Luckily, Vaporeon's able to get me out of a problem with this Noivern. I don't think he had a switcheroo on it, so that was good because I was always able to safely switch in.
Yeah, Noivern's going to have a hard time hitting a Vaporeon almost regardless of set. Maybe Specs Noivern, I'm sure packs a Draco Meteor that you don't want to eat, but aside from something like that, Vaporeon is just an all-around great switch in.
So the reason I didn't go Gengar before is because Horn Leech killed, so I was kind of forced to go Hydreigon. And right here, I couldn't justify going anybody else because Hydreigon wasn't too useful in this match. So it was more of an Amoonguss counter. So I figured just trying to pressure the Bulu, keep it at a lower health was advantageous. Because even though he's a bulky Bulu, if I can keep up his health down to about less than full, I'm pretty sure Scissor killed. Or I guess I went Gengar to try and take advantage. Yeah, because I'm going to try and disable and get some health. I figured, he outplayed me there because I figured the disable was too obvious, but he got me. Oh, yeah, never mind, I guess.
Yeah.
But with the Willow, I was able to kind of tank him up there.
That Willow definitely came in big because I knew that that even Scizor, of all things, isn't going to appreciate coming in on a Swords Dance Horn Leech from a Bulu.
Now, this play here is what changed the game. So I actually double here, expecting the Uxie.
Yeah.
Into Blastoise, and now here I'm able to completely wreck his team. So he underestimated Blastoise or overestimated Bulu and brought it in and lost it there. Then did the same with Aggron, lost his Aggron. So here he finally goes in a game. Now here is where some of the problems begin. So I knew I needed damage on the Sharpedo. Now, after Blastoise dies here, in hindsight, what I should have done, I should have gone Mew right away. But since I was trying to preserve differential, and I wasn't thinking of an alternate route, I went Vaporeon. I figured this was the safer route. So I went for the Toxic here, and unfortunately he gets the defense drop and I miss. So this means that my Vaporeon is dead, cannot deal with the Noivern, and so I have to go Mew. I have to take a huge crunch, kill him. The Noivern's going to be able to kill me. And unfortunately, at that health, I am not able to kill with Ball Punch. So, very unfortunate, but it's still a very good, close game.
Oh, a great game.
That was a very good game.
Out of curiosity, what hidden power were you on Blastoise? I know you said it before, I'm sorry.
Hidden power electric for Mantine.
For Mantine. I had a feeling that's what it was.
Yeah, because like I said, I wanted good coverage for a team like his. So I didn't go with Aura Sphere because I didn't really see the point in his team. Because if I was Aura Sphere, then I'm not hitting the Mantine. Like I would just be walled by the Mantine. So
true.
I had to go with it there. Obviously, the Aura Sphere would have killed the Sharpedo there, but regardless, very good showing for us. I'm very excited to fight Ross in the playoffs, hopefully, if we both make it there.
Oh, I don't think you have to worry about that. Maybe I'm wrong.
You never know.
Knock on wood, I suppose. Well, all right there, gentlemen. We feel comfortable calling that a show?
Yep.
Yeah, that was a good episode. Thanks for joining us, Lewis. I know it was really last minute us asking you to hop on here with us, but greatly appreciated that you decided to.
Yeah, I kind of felt bad for the time I didn't come, so I was like, yeah, let me show up this time.
Yeah, much obliged. We had no hard feelings about that, but I appreciate that you're feeling about that, so much obliged.
It's fine. I actually like this. It's very fun.
It was great having you on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's great being here. Hopefully I could be here again. Just not in this basement.
Maybe one day
you're
we'll have a
locked down
studio.
Ooh, maybe.
Nah.
Awesome. Cool. So yeah, we hope everybody enjoyed the episode, and yeah, we'll try to keep these more updated. And if you want to be on the podcast, let us know. We can tailor certain things to have special topics that you're willing to talk about, and you don't even need to be in the draft of power to be on the podcast. Remember that as well. Yeah, I'm Calvin, and
I'm Leo.
thanks for being on.
Are we doing that?
Lewis? Yeah.
Please subscribe.
Yes, subscribe.
Yeah.
Leave a comment.
Leave comments, leave likes, subscribe, view.
All that stuff. All right, people. Have a good one.
Support these people, they're good.